Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so today in this occasion, I would like to tell you about my literacy research, which have titled Efforts to Minimize Misuse of Legislative Members, Campaign Methods in Democratic Activities for the General Election. Okay, so before I explain the research background, let me introduce myself first. My name is Dewi Azzahra. I'm from 9.5 and my attendance list is 12. Okay, so the research background of my literacy research is, as we all know, every country has a different system and government. There is monarchical system of government, or there is federal republic system of government. And Indonesia is a federal republic system, which Indonesia is led by a president. A president itself chosen by democratic activities. What is democratic activities? Democratic activities is citizens should choose a president or maybe a legislative, and it can be the leader of Indonesia itself. But unfortunately, right now there is many fraud doing by the candidates of legislative or maybe president. But in the based on the data that I have, there's many citizens get the fraud by the candidates of legislative. And with that, I think the democratic activities cannot doing by luber jurdil. That is langsung, bebas, rahasia, jujur, and adil. And with that, Indonesia cannot choose the best leader for our nation. And this is the problem formulation. You can see first is what is the adverse impact of misuse of the way legislative members campaign on democratic activities in the 2024 election. And the second is how can the implementation of the general election campaign can be minimized from fraud and democratic activities can be carried out with luber jurdil. And this is the research design with the problem. In the general election in 2024, there are still many candidates doing fraud to the citizen, and it makes the democratic activities cannot carry out with luber jurdil. And there is a research question, number 1 and number 2. What is the adverse impact caused by the misuse? And then this is the literacy study, identification problem, analyze, and conclusion. Okay, so we'll start in the discussion to answer about the problem formulation. Okay, with the misuse of this campaign, which is considered profitable by society, it actually creates losses for the state. Okay, so when the legislative candidates, we're talking about the legislative candidates doing fraud to the citizen, it makes the citizens feel that they get the benefit from the fraud itself, and it makes the democratic activities cannot choose the best leader for Indonesia. And Indonesia also has the potential to find it difficult to get the best figure of the Indonesian nation. People tend to choose a candidate player for their personal sympathies, not for the belief of the citizen itself. And the second is the way or several efforts to carry out through money politics or basic necessities of legislative candidates. First is there needs to be educate in a citizen that black campaign is a bad thing, and I think black campaign has a very high bad impact for us. And the second is there needs to be an effort to increase people's political literacy so that they are not easily manipulated by political candidates. And the third is there needs to be unable to strengthen supervision of the general election process so that money politics can be minimized. It is hoped that with political education in society, we can overcome measures to prevent the occurrence of money politics itself. The fourth is there needs to be full supervision from Bawaslu. Bawaslu is Bawaslu is um, Bawaslu is a people who keep the democracy activities itself. And the last is develop and educate the public about the negative impact of black campaign, so the citizen can know that if they get the fraud, they can know that it is a bad thing. So they didn't want it to get. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Currently, suddenly people just choose the president or maybe legislative just on the sympathy or benefits from themselves and not purely from their own beliefs. It makes destroying the democratic order, undermining human dignity. And Indonesia people will be indifferent to literacy about politics on social media because they only participate in election just because it's obligatory as an Indonesian citizen. So I think Bawaslu should more keep a democracy party, and then the suggestion is build shared aspiration and have a full desire to change the future of the country together. And the second is have true intention and desire so that the desired change can be achieved. I think black campaign in Indonesia can stop. But I think it's a little bit hard because, as we all know, as I said before, citizens choose the leader by the sympathy, or they just think about the benefit that the candidates of the legislative give to them. So I think should more educate from Bawaslu to the citizens and to the government that black campaign have a really many bad impact for us, and with them maybe the citizen itself don't want it to get the fraud itself. So I think that's all from me. Any question?
And how's the impact of the measures of the campaigning for the election?
The impact?
The impact.
Okay. I think the impact is really bad for us, such as the citizen itself, or maybe Indonesia cannot choose the best leader for our nation, and the future of Indonesia cannot be really, really good.
So, what the example of good campaign in the general election?
Okay, a good campaign in Indonesia is, as we all know, such as billboard, maybe it have a limit time. But sometimes the legislative still do the billboard, or maybe they still promote themselves in after the limit time itself. And I think Bawaslu should more talk about what is the rules of the democracy activities itself. And I think the candidates of legislative should more not doing fraud, because actually they should more know about the real meaning of democracy activities, and they should be example for citizens that democracy activities should doing by really, really clean without fraud, I think.
Okay, the last in your research, there is money politics. So what can you do to minimize money politics in the next general election?
To minimize money politics. Okay. To minimize money politics, as we all know, citizen itself should be educated. Again, I explained about be educated by Bawaslu, or maybe from childhood they more learn about what is democracy activities. With that, citizen itself don't wanted to get the fraud by the candidates of legislative, I think. So educate is more, it's really, really important in this case.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. You can close
Okay.
your presentation.
So I think that's all from me. Thank you for your nice attention. Because this is my last presentation here, I would like to say thank you for MTS Bilingual and Mem Rahma, and thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.